The year is 2005. It was an oddly warm fall morning. Today was Saturday, meaning no school for me, but it was even more special than that. This is because my favorite show Family Guy had just been confirmed to return after 2 years, and the new episode was airing today. Massive events like this one happening in the evening makes it hard to get through the day. It even warped time and space, making it move in slow motion. In order to circumvent this, I hung out with my friends. We just did our usual activities, like ride bikes, get food, and chill. We had even decided to play some Ding Dong Ditch. It was always my favorite activity to do with my friends, and almost never got old. We pulled up to this average yellow house with a blue roof and red door a town over, and was gonna strike. It was my turn to ring the doorbell, but something stopped me. The house looked familiar, so oddly familiar. My friends were completely off the property. It was just me alone. I was frozen, lost in thought at what this house meant. Then I heard a woman's blood-curdling scream come from inside, coupled with a dog barking and a baby crying. I looked inside and saw a large man stabbing his orange-haired wife. I hit the ding-dong accidentally and just ditched, running at full speed, dusting my other friends. I ran all the way across town, and my friends followed me. Once we had got back, my friends were tearing me a new one, asking WTF just happened and why I ran for so long. I hadn't responded to them, still traumatized from what I just saw. I just said I was scared and had to go home. Once I arrived at my little apartment at around 7. I had locked the door immediately. I was 14 at the time and was too scared to call the police. This was possibly the worst time to find out my parents went on a date and won't be home until after midnight. My brain could not reconcile with what I had just witnessed and was still in shock. After a couple of hours I was able to calm down. Mom always told me when life gives you lemons to make lemonade, so I had realized that this eventful day had actually made time move fast, and the episode was to air in 10 minutes. Surprised, I had gathered all my things quickly, and settled down ready for the episode. The second it started, the power went out in my place. I had screamed in my mind fuck, but then proceed to get up and figure out the problem. Before I had gotten out of my chair, the power came on, but only for the TV. It was static for a couple minutes, then displayed Family Guy, the lost episode, in the typical Family Guy font over the static. It made me think the static was intentional, but I dismissed that thought and kept watching. There was a timer displayed in the top right corner, and once the episode began it started counting down from 7 minutes and 53 seconds, and below it in a box it said till death. I thought it was just a joke about the show's cancellation. Other than that, it was just a normal episode with cute away gags, and a funny plotline, but then at around 4 minutes things started to change. At this point in the episode, Peter had been fired from the toy factory because of his shenanigans. When the episode cut to him at his house, there was something different about it. The colors were blurred, and the music was replaced with complete and utter silence. It now shows the family on the chair. Everyone is normal, but Peter has a horrifying expression on his face looking directly at the camera. No one else in the show seems to notice, and it frightens me a little. Everyone else in the family just banters on as per usual, but Peter stuck there with the expression on his face. Then at 2 minutes 15 seconds Peter gets up and goes to the kitchen, with a large knife. Everything in the show is animated at a decent quality, but this knife was almost lifelike and stuck out like a high-quality sore thumb. The screen cut to black and I heard the horrifying scream of Meg and Chris. The screen returned. Peter, with the same expression on his face, butchered them. Lois is trembling, trying to hide in the corner. I don't know what happened, but Brian and Stewie were reduced to just being a baby and a dog, barking and crying. Then Peter had grabbed her, and proceeded to butcher her all the same. I was so fucking scared at this point I didn't want to move a muscle, but then in the show I heard something. Someone had rung the doorbell, and you could hear footsteps outside the house. Peter bolted towards the door, opening it, and I will never forget what I saw. It was me running away. The timer at this point had 1 minute left. I was scared shitless and tried to turn the TV off, but it wouldn't work. I was frozen, horrified at what I had just seen. Then the show went black for 20 seconds and showed Peter climbing up the stairs to some apartment. When the camera panned over, I realized it was mine. The timer had 20 seconds at this point, and I heard a very loud knocking at my door, and was scared shitless. I got out of my chair and tried to hide underneath the couch. The door bursts open. From my vantage point I could only see green pant legs and brown shoes. I couldn't afford to breathe. At this point I assume the timer reached 10 seconds because it started to hear sharp and eerie tick-tock noises. The man in my home was walking around looking for me. I saw blood drip off him onto the floor. His breath was so heavy and labored. I had counted 3 ticks, meaning I had 7 seconds left. He then approached the couch and lifted it. I curled up and screamed at the top of my lungs. 2 ticks left. My life had flashed before my eyes. I remembered everything. The day I was born, every birthday, first day of school, it had all come back to me. I was frozen the second to last tick went off. Then I heard the words, "Are you alright, son?" I looked up, still panicked, and it was my dad in green pants, brown shoes, eating a slice of pizza. Somehow everything was normal. The TV was playing a generic episode of Family Guy, and my parents came home early due to the fact that the movie sucked. I don't know what the hell just happened. I was on the couch now, not saying a single word, just staring into empty space. My mum then turns off the TV and says, "I told you not to watch that show, you are too young." My mum brought me upstairs and put me into bed. I had been still and frozen, still scared shitless at what I had just seen and felt. My mum wishes me good night and closes the bedroom door. I convinced myself it was just a dream, and was heading off to slumber. However, right before I fell asleep, I heard the last tick.